Welcome to Packmates, a podcast about Magic the Gathering Limited, where we take a deep dive into current limited formats. The Packmates are a group of friendly card sharks like hanging out, going F&M, and getting them dubs. Tonight we're going to talk about rabbits.
Amen.
Yeah. I'm Ryan, your resident aggro expert.
I'm Robi, the resident Dirtle expert.
I'm Andrew, the resident mid-range expert.
And
We
the
are
Packmates.
Mates.
You guys need to have
You
a little
sucked
bit
all the
more
energy out of it.
enthusiasm.
You sucked that all out.
A little bit more enthusiasm
regret-
next time.
There are a few things in the podcast I regret more than giving you the ant.
I'm gonna need some more enthusiasm. It's been a while. We need a lot more.
It's been a minute.
It's been a while.
minute.
It's been a while.
This week we're going to talk about rabbits. Like we said, don't forget to check out our Discord. That's where we're active. Link will be in the description.
Yep, we like to draft on there for sure.
Football season's coming up, so why don't you kick us off, Robi?
Good one, Ryan.
Thanks, brother.
So I want to talk about rabbits because it is the only vegan animal in this format.
Gerbil?
I didn't actually think it through. Maybe gerbils are vegan. I think. All right, now I have to know. Because I think gerbils will eat their young. I think that's the thing with gerbils and hamsters. Pause the podcast. Pause the
I didn't think I'd
podcast. for a
derail it
second.
that quickly. Like, honestly, I didn't think it was going to be that.
Are gerbils vegans?
I felt like that was just like a gentle nudge into it.
Gerbils are omnivores. No, they eat insects. Rabbits don't eat insects. They just eat hay.
They just,
So, yes.
just hay?
Yeah, they just eat like plants. Their digestive systems don't let them eat bugs.
Tell me more about the rabbits, Robi.
They're vegans. So therefore they're cool. But like, okay, so rabbits are like inarguably the best archetype in the format. And it's like not even really close, really, in my opinion. Like definitely other archetypes can succeed against rabbits, but like I think it's probably like easily the best deck. Easily.
What
And
colors are the rabbit deck?
So like the rabbits deck, like the primo, you get every busted rare, every busted common and uncommon is green white.
Oh,
But I think like rabbits can exist in like pockets of synergy too. In black white and also in red white. Like I think white is probably the best color whenever it comes to the rabbits. So like I think that's like the basis of the rabbits deck. The white rabbits tend to be a lot better than the other colors of rabbits.
so you got to follow the white rabbit
Yes, like Neo from the Matrix. Yep.
or Alice in Wonderland.
No, Neo. That's where it came from. That's where Alice in Wonderland got it from. But yeah, like so rabbit. I've had like a ton of success with rabbits in like person and also online quite a bit. But yeah, like there's definitely pockets of synergy and like different types of rabbits decks for sure. There's like the more token based rabbits decks that like if you can get a hold of like Hop Tuits, which is just like a busted uncommon.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, like what you guys had some questions about it? What are your
Well, we're going to
questions
let you
about
go
rabbit?
into the like synergy pockets and
The
stuff. and then
synergy
we'll
pockets.
probably-
Okay. So like
what is the best rabbits deck?
the best rabbits deck has the rares. So like if you're able to ever get one of the rares, it like
Like, which rares?
dramatically. So
Like which if you could pick your rare to start a draft with.
I would say like top three. Top three specifically for the rabbits deck. I'm gonna like not include Season of Burrow, which is just busted in any white deck. I'm gonna say Caretaker's Talent.
Okay.
I'm gonna
Can
say
you give us a quick rundown just in case?
Caretaker's Talent is the 3-mana enchantment and it's a talent. You can level it up. When it says like just baseline whenever you cast it, whenever a token enters the battlefield under your control, you draw a card. It's just like a disgusting card engine. Like you just get so much value off it. And for the first level, it costs 1 white mana and you can copy a target token you control.
So that's like draw a card for one.
Yep, for sure. Like,
Yeah.
and then the second one is the Valley Quest Caller, the 2-man. Oh, well, the last Caretaker's talent is all your tokens get +2/+2, which is just like
And
game breaking.
It only costs like 4, right?
Yeah, it only costs 4 mana. Like, it's so gross and disgusting. But yeah, that's probably like the best rare for the deck, and that for the more tokeny kind of decks. But the next one is Valley Quest Caller, the 2-mana 2/3, which is already like good stats. And it gives like every white creature type +1/+1, including rabbits. And whenever one of them enters the battlefield under your control, you scry.
Yeah.
So also just like a disgusting, not like you aren't drawing cards off it, but like you're making your next draws insane.
Right. Like all of your creatures trigger it most
like
of the
basically all of them, unless you just have like random creature
lizards
types.
or something.
Yeah. And so that one, and then for the third one, probably the 1-mana green. I forget what it's even called, but whenever you cast a rabbit, toad, or whatever, it gets a +1/+1.
Oh,
counter.
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That's like a disgusting rare in that deck.
Yeah.
But it's like less good than the other two for sure.
It's definitely scary on turn 1 when they do that.
Yeah.
Yeah. But Caretaker's talent, like at any point in the game, just is so horrifying. Like they'll grind you out with card advantage so easy.
Yeah, it's kind of crazy too. Like there's a lot of really good enchantments in this format, but like white has them all, and it also is like the way to remove them.
Yep.
Right. So like they're tough to deal with. They're very tough to deal with.
For sure. But yeah, there's like tons of synergy pockets in these decks. There's like definitely the more token based rabbits deck. That's the one I started out with. Like really, like I identified that very early that like Hop to It is actively a broken Magic card. Like you get 3 1/1s for 3 mana. That's crazy.
Yeah,
That's crazy.
No one thought that one was going to be good.
Nobody like realized that that's like the best creature type too. Like that's like the most relevant creature type in this format. And like it's so good. Just 3 mana, you get 3 1/1s. You can use Rabbit Response, which is the 4 mana instant to give them all +2/+1, and then you get to like scry 2. It's crazy. But I've noticed that the Rabbit deck really wants to have a token on 2. So there's like
Because the 1/2.
there's the 1/2, and there's also the 3 mana Druid that becomes a 4/3 whenever you
with trample or whatever.
With trample, yeah.
Is that a good card? Is that something that makes like your first 19 cards, or is that
the Druid?
The Druid.
I think it does for sure. Like that's like a payoff.
Yep.
It's like a payoff for doing your work of getting a token on 2, which is like pretty easy. And there's like quite a few ways to do it. Like probably the best way in the token deck is the 2 mana raccoon that makes a food.
Mm-hmm.
That's like the best way at common, I think.
Better than carrot cake?
Carrot cake is like by far. I take that back. Carrot cake is just insanely way better.
Okay.
But like the raccoon is like a good replacement because you're not going to see a ton of carrot cakes anymore. Like people have pretty well figured out how insane that card is. A poor man's Imperial Oath, right?
Way worse. Yeah.
No, it's better because it comes down on 2. Like it scries you too. Scries you too.
We might need to pull up some statistics later.
Yeah,
it's
I don't
not
think
better than
that's,
Imperial
no.
Oath.
It's got like a 60% opening hand win rate.
Opening hand maybe, but Imperial Oath is just
Probably close to like 60 opening hand win rate too. So
maybe for a 6-drop.
I don't know, yeah.
Yeah, but like it's so good. Carrot cake is insanely good. And you just get so much value off it. Like the scry 2, the scry 1 twice is super relevant.
Yeah.
Like it just gets you out of like even late game. Like it gains you life, keeps you in the game, and you get card selection too. But yeah, carrot cake is by far the best way to trigger it on 2. But then the raccoon's probably second. And then I also like, this is like some secret tech, is the 2 mana
food thing.
the food thing that like makes a food token and for 5 mana can destroy something.
I'm a little confused. Why do you need the token on 2 and not on 4? Like that thing comes down, but it can't swing right away.
For mostly because of the because of the one drop, the
Okay.
1/2.
Yeah.
But like so the 1/2 gets the buff whenever it attacks.
On attacks, yeah.
On attacks, the druid gets it if you
Permanently.
just have the
Yeah.
token, right? So like you just went on 2, so then you can swing out on.
With the 1/2.
Yep. Yeah. So that's like a super. But like the 2 mana, I forget what it's called. The 2 mana food thing that for 5 mana.
Yeah, it's like, and you can pay 5 and destroy something, right?
Destroy
Mhm.
something, but that's like a low-key little combo with the Builder's Talent, the 2 mana, which is also a premium card in these decks.
Really?
I think so.
Huh.
I think so. Because like you're making all these little guys. So to me, there's like 2 different rabbit decks. There's the big guys rabbit deck, where like you have intrepid rabbits to make something huge. You're usually attacking, you're not going super wide.
Mm.
And then there's like the ultra wide rabbit response decks. But there's like the one that like cares about its creatures more, and you'll just have like 3 hop to it, and just it doesn't matter. You're just swinging out with everything always. That deck likes the Builder's Talents because like if you can get like a couple of if you can get the artifact thing, that puts 2 counters on something if you level up the Builder's Talent once. And then you also get to destroy something, and then you get to bring it back with the Builder's Talent too. Because for the 5 mana on the Builder's Talent, and it also keeps you alive against dumb aggro decks, making the 0/4 wall.
Without sacking your whole board. for
Without,
it,
yep. I've been super impressed with Builder's Talent. It's crazy.
Really?
It's so good. It's so good, genuinely. Yeah, like it's super good. You get to like make a big guy. It's tight. If you get like one of the bramble, whatever it's called, that like puts 4 counters on something. Because
What are you talking about?
the 2 mana artifact
Oh,
that
yeah,
destroys
yeah,
something, whenever it comes into play, it makes it food, which also gives it another counter. That's 2 counters from that one time playing it. And then whenever you sack it to destroy something and bring it back, that's another 2 counters.
Yeah.
And like any random food that you make ever, like if you have the raccoon, it gives something +1/+1 forever, right? Like a counter. Builder's Talent's sick. Builder's Talent's super good. But the like go bigger rabbits deck, like with the intrepid rabbits, likes it definitely more.
Like, so Builder's Talent goes in that deck with that 1 mana artifact that like draws cards and stuff.
Yeah, for sure. Like the more grindy, the ultra grindy, like you're using your tokens for value instead of attacking with them. You didn't get a rabbit response, so you just gotta draw a billion cards until you get like your 1 removal spell you play to remove their reacher to get your flyer through or something. Yeah.
Should I take Builder's Talent over Carrot Cake? Like
No.
early in the draft when I
No,
don't know what I'm
probably
doing.
not.
Okay.
Probably not. It's Carrot Cake goes in more decks, I think. Like
Carrot Cake's the number 1 common you're looking for most of
Yep.
the time. Like
most
early.
of the time, yes.
Like obviously, like, you know, as you build your deck, there's certain things that you need, right?
I
And that
usually
adjusts.
I'll take a hop to it over a Carrot Cake though.
Oh yeah, I'm sure
yeah.
there's some uncommons,
Yeah.
like a Harvest Rite Host even.
Yeah, Harvest Right Host
Yeah.
for sure. Yeah, which is like the bomb uncommon for this deck for
Mhm.
sure.
Yeah, that card is
That and hop
Yeah,
to
it's
it,
so good.
right? Like it's kind of almost even a little tough. I'd usually pick a hop to it over Harvest Right Host
for your
but
first copy,
first copy. Yeah, it's
and then
just
second
so
copy
good.
you'd flip them.
Yep, for sure. Harvest Right Host is the 3 mana 3/3 that like just every time a rabbit enters the battlefield under your control, it gives something +1/+0. Insane in red white too, because whenever it enters the battlefield, it can trigger Valiant, and
Mhm.
anytime a rabbit enters the battlefield, it triggers Valiant. And then the second time a rabbit enters the battlefield under your control in 1 turn, you get to draw a card, which is busted. So good. You like Carrot Cake, sack it immediately, 4 mana, you get to draw a card, gain 3 life, and the game's basically
+2,
over.
+0. Yeah.
Yeah, the
I was
game's
surprised by the amount of card draw I saw come out of a rabbit deck today. They had the heirloom, they had the other guy who was tripping up extra cards there. So they're drawing 2 extra cards a turn, which was pretty impressive. I was like,
it's
wow.
like a very attrition-y, you get to draw a million extra cards,
Mhm.
which is weird for like what we would call like normally like a more aggressive deck. You can definitely play it not aggressively.
Yeah.
like I've been known to just grind people out with like just value from this green white deck too, for sure.
Well, yeah, the cards just support both so well. Like 3 mana to block their biggest thing 3 times, or to just have 3 dudes that they have to block. Like it's just so good in both modes. You know what I mean?
And like you definitely get away with like not playing very much removal. You get to play like the crumb and get it, right? Like you're usually just like leveraging combat tricks for removal most of the time, for sure. Like it's very rare that I have like more than like 2 or 3 removal spells in a rabbit deck. Because you don't really need them, because most of the time you're just you need like 1 or 2 just to like remove like a big, disgusting, unbeatable bomb. But like other than that, you're just chumping forever.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's like the main rabbit deck is probably more towards the tokens for sure. Like usually if you get a busted rare, it's insane.
So for the go wide rabbit deck,
Mm-hmm.
what commons am I looking for? Like what do I really want?
Carrot cake, anything that. So I think it's like mostly like a curve kind of thing. Like so you want to be able to like curve out with the tokens. So you want to make obviously you need the hop to it's for sure. Carrot cake is obviously number 1.
Yeah,
I'm trying to think of like
all these cards we're talking about, like going both, right? Like what puts me in go wide versus grind? My rares?
Rares, potentially, but also I think like anything that makes like 2 things before turn 3. Like before turn 4 where you can rabbit response, right?
Okay.
Like even the 1 mana mouse.
The 1/2? Yeah.
The 1/2. That's a good thing to use. That's not even a common now.
Yeah.
But like you almost see it like a common.
Like, okay, let me rephrase this. Let's just derail this and go somewhere else, because like I feel like
I think
you're
it's all the same kind of.
Yeah. Like pick 5, pick 6. What are you super excited to see? Like carrot cakes are gone.
Carrot cakes.
Intrepid, all the great uncommons are gone. What are we looking for bottom half of the pack, like mid pack, that we're like, I got there. Like I'm there.
So basically anything that says rabbit on it.
Okay.
That's like a weird answer, but like they all synergize so well together.
So just cards that say rabbits, or cards that make tokens for like fairly cost efficient.
Yep. Like anything.
There's no particular card that you're like, pick 6? What? Like that happens a lot. You know what I mean?
That happens a lot. I would say even Bravekin Duo is like kind of
the 4 mana that gives +X/+X.
That's like less of the go wide and more of like the make something big and scary. Crumb and get it, which just gets exponentially better.
So you're taking crumb and get it like super early.
Even like pick 6?
Yeah,
probably. If I see it, usually. Yeah. You usually want like at least like 1.
Yeah.
Like
you're happy with 2 or 3?
Yeah. I've played 3 many a times, but yeah, like that, the herbalist.
Is crumb and get it really good because of
it's good
the mana efficiency issues?
It's good in everything, but like mana for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Because you're just trying to curve usually. I think it's more, you're trying to curve more. I don't know. I think you might be trying to curve more in like the more intrepid rabbit kind of deck than you are like the token deck. Because those can usually go longer.
I mean, you want intrepid rabbit in both for sure, right? Like it makes a token and it like enables an attack.
It's definitely, I think it's
like it's second common to carrot cake, right?
I don't know. Yeah, for sure. It gets better in like different decks for sure.
Right. Like if you have Harvest Rite Host, it's insane.
Yeah, it's insane in Harvest Rite Host.
Yeah. And if you have like, a flyer or a trample guy or whatever.
Yeah, any trample guy. Like especially like I think it's like especially good with like the druid.
Yeah. The 1/4.
Yep. And it works with it because it enables it on turn 4 after you played it on turn 3, right?
Yeah.
So basically anything with rabbit I think is like low key playable.
I mean, like even the scenario where you have that 4/3 and then you follow it up with like intrepid rabbit, like take 6. That's insane.
Yep.
Right.
The 4/3 is insane. The tree guard duo or whatever.
Is that what it is?
I don't know.
The 2/3 for 3 that is a 4/3.
Oh no, I was talking about. We're talking about Druid.
Yeah, no, I'm saying like that's why Intrepid Rabbit's so good is because like even like a mediocre card like the 2/3 that's like a +2/+0 trample, like it turns that attack into like a like over
Or
like a third of their health.
Yeah,
right?
like a 6/5
on
Yeah.
swinging on 4, right?
Yeah, yeah, for sure. Yeah, Intrepid Rabbit's super good. I've gone up on it quite a bit. Like I didn't start out loving it.
Okay,
as
so
much.
Carrot Cake is needed. Intrepid Rabbits are needed. What other
Intrepid
commons?
Rabbit isn't needed, I don't think. I think Carrot Cake is way more needed than that.
Okay.
But what other commons? It's so hard with play packs to even know what's even a common anymore. But like Bravekin Duo's super good. I think they're all like kind of good.
Bravekin Duo is good.
I think so.
Ooh.
I think so. It like sometimes enables weird.
That's the 1-mana 1/1.
Yep.
Mm.
It like sometimes enables other synergies inside of green white that they wouldn't normally have. Like especially if you get like the 1-mana mouse guy that makes all your other mice bigger.
Yeah.
The 3-mana when you offspring it, make the 1/2. It's super good with that. But like basically any like anything that doesn't say bird on it.
Vanishing Light.
I'm not high on it.
Okay.
I'm like, wait. I will also say Nettle Sentinel is pretty good in rabbit decks because people play Banishing Light.
Sonar Strike.
Sonar Strike, I'm surprisingly very low on. Like, I think that the 2-mana artifact that creates the food token is better than Sonar Strike in those decks. Like, I pick it higher.
Life Creed Duo.
I like Life Creed Duo, but that also like is way better the more tokens you have for sure.
That's more for the grindy one.
That's like ultra grindy. Like that's like not normally where you want to be, but like is definitely a thing you can do to like just grind people out.
Nettle Guard. 3/1. Sack
Yep.
for-
I like it. It's just a good attacker, right? Like it's a 3/1. And
What
sometimes
about
it's nice.
The 3/4 bird that puts a counter on something for 5.
Terrible.
Okay.
Absolute garbage.
Rabbit response. How highly are we taking those?
That's usually what I want to see 6-pick. That's like the comment I want to see at 6-pick. Give me another one.
I'm working on it.
That's why I wanted to do a tier list of every rabbit card.
Thistle down players 3/3 for 3 that untaps it.
Less good, but like begrudgingly playable.
Warren Elder.
Busted. Probably the second best.
Over Intrepid Rabbit.
I like it better, but like
It's a 2-drop.
it's a 2-drop usually, and that's like there's so many good things out 4 because I almost see an Intrepid Rabbit as like a 4-drop.
I almost don't even want to ask this one because I feel like I know the answer, but the Waxwing Witness, the 2/4
Yeah,
vigilance.
it's unplayable. Yeah,
Just gotta
like-
make sure, sometimes you
like-
throw some weird stuff out.
Sometimes, so like I will say, Waxwing Witness can be real if you're like a go wide token deck and you have Life Creed Duos.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like because it's not just once per turn.
Right.
Like,
Yeah.
Like if you like play
I mean,
a hop
I've seen
to
that
it,
card be scary.
yeah.
sometimes.
If you play like a hop to it into a Life Creed Duo
or 2
what-
Life Creed Duos.
Yeah,
Holy
yeah.
cow.
Yeah, and it has vigilance too, right?
Right.
Like so, it's just disgusting.
Like anything with 4 toughness is so good at blocking. Like just period. Like that's why you play the 0/4, right? Like 4 toughness is a lot.
yeah, and like I've seen it be good on blocks too. Cause like,
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
like if you have like a Life Creed Duo in play and a Carrot Cake in play, and like they attack into you,
You have
with-
a 4/4.
You
right?
have a
Yeah.
4/4 flyer. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, for sure. Like it's gross. But like for the most part, like you would need to make it good.
Okay, which of these green cards am I taking over those white cards? So the main cards we're looking for are the Warren Guard, a common, the Carrot Cake, and then Intrepid Rabbit.
Intrepid
and then
Rabbit,
like
that's-
there's some other decent ones, but those are the
Yep.
main 3.
Yep.
And Rabbit Response.
Rabbit response, but like that's like not needed as much.
You don't need it?
You don't need it. A lot of times Warren Elder does the same thing.
Sure.
Yep. And is like better usually.
Yeah, because it's also a dude. Yeah.
Yep.
That makes sense. Okay, so Baker's Bane Duo is the one you were talking about.
Yep.
Do I
Pretty
take that over any of those white cards?
No.
Okay.
A lot of times too, like you'll start like, and this is what happened to me tonight. You'll like start off taking all the good white cards
Mhm.
and like you'll get pockets of synergy. You usually like can kind of tell like if I have a harvest right host, if anything that makes 2 rabbits is automatically like higher pick order.
Yeah.
And so like you can usually tell, and like a lot of times you won't even end up in green white. But like I always start in white. Usually,
Yeah.
for sure.
Yeah. I'm just going to assume green white for this. So
Yep.
what about cash grab?
I don't play it. I don't play it, but I think like the rabbit deck would just wants to like build a board usually. Like you don't want to spend a ton of time like dicking around with your graveyard.
Yeah.
like
Yeah. And Druid of the Spades, the next one, that's the one you talked about, the 2/3.
Yep.
Where does that go like with those other white cards? Like is it worse than all of them? Is it
It's better than rabbit response, but lower
than the other 3?
Yeah, definitely.
Life Creed Duo? Which one are you taking?
Life Creed Duo over Druid of the Spade?
Yeah.
It depends. It depends usually. Because
pick 3. Like you don't
pick
have
3.
you
Pick
don't have
3
direction.
usually I stay in white.
Yeah.
I'll try and stay in white as long as I can.
Next up we have Heaped Harvest. No, we don't
We don't
want
play that. We don't play that.
High Stride, 1/3 untapped.
Begrudgingly playable sometimes. Like sometimes a sideboard card for sure.
Okay. Next.
I've played it. Like it gets better like if you have more Valiant stuff too.
Long Stock Brawl. The
Very
1 mana.
good. Pretty good, but like less good in rabbits because most of you guys are small. But like most of the time you don't really like need it as much.
I mean, you could pair it with like Intrepid Rabbit to like have a big turn, right?
Yeah, but it's like
Polywallop, not interested in that at all.
I'm usually not. No.
Rush Shield Rampager, the 4/4 that can only be blocked or can't be blocked by creatures with power 2 or less.
Not
with
interested.
Offspring.
Yep. Sometimes it's playable. It makes
Sticky Tongue Sentinel, the 3 mana
Not
3/3
playable.
that lets you return something.
Not playable.
No.
Yeah.
Sun Shower Druid, 0/3 that puts a counter on something, gains life.
Unplayable, yep. You usually don't want anything that says frog in your rabbit deck.
Root Weaver, the 1/3 that
But
extra mana.
it's like playable, right? Like it's playable sometimes, like depending on how high your curve goes. So like let's say you get like if I have a Season of Burrow, I'm way more likely to play that.
Yeah.
Like
It's just not necessary in most
it's not
decks.
necessary most of the time. But like it's nice a lot of times. Rabbits usually has like a lot of ways to spend its mana.
I think like honestly, to me, there's a couple of reasons why like rabbits are so good. And one is just its curve is just naturally there. Like it's
its
just
curve is disgusting.
you don't have to
Yeah.
work for the curve. Like it's
Usually
just,
not. No.
like 1-drops that you want to play exist. Lots of 2-drops you want to play exist. Lots of 3-drops you want to play exist. And lots of 4-drops you want to play exist, right? Like
Yep.
you're fine playing Carrot Cake on 2 or 4. You're fine
Yep.
playing Intrepid Rabbit on 4. Like you're
Yep.
fine playing Tree Guard Duo on 4. But like aside from that, like Carrot Cake's also good on 2. Like you know
Yeah.
what I mean?
for sure.
Treetop Sentries or Tree Guard Duo is the next card. Are you taking that over Rapid Response?
Tree Guard Duo.
+X Vigilance to a creature, where X is number of creatures you control.
So this is like the biggest divide between the go big rabbit decks and the go wide rabbit decks. Like the go big rabbit decks, like definitely want that way more.
What
which
are
is
they
like
putting?
kind of
What are they
like-
putting the buff on? I don't understand.
Okay, so this is where it gets kind of weird. Usually your best target for that is the druid, which you would think would go in like the ultra go wide deck, but like also goes in the kind of
I mean, you only need 1 token
Yeah,
for the Druid.
yeah.
Like
But
the Life
druid
Creed
is your
Duo.
best target because it has trample.
Life Creed Duo is a
Life
good
Creed
target.
Duo is super good too. But like
What about Treetop Sentries? 4-H draw card, 2/4 reach? No.
no, usually not.
And then
You're not usually
what about the green white uncommon or
It's
like
good.
XX?
it's good.
Are you ever taking it over Hop to It or Harvest Right Host?
Never. Like usually that just has to like I won't usually take it over those busted uncommons, but it's okay. It's definitely good. And like your long stock brawl stock goes up whenever you have that.
Right. And then like Tree Guard Duo also,
True.
right?
Yep. For sure.
Because
for
it's
sure.
getting through.
Yeah, for sure.
What about the green red like raccoon that like when you expend it gets +2/+1? Like it's hybrid. It's, you know, it's mostly green.
The 5 mana one.
The 4/5, yeah.
Yeah, no. I usually don't play it.
The
But
Corpseberry Cultivator? No.
no. I've
What about the
seen- I've
3/2
seen
that
a
makes-
Corpseberry cultivator do work.
Yeah.
if you get like enough carrot cakes, but at that point, like you're just winning because you have a bunch of carrot cakes, and it doesn't really matter. It doesn't really matter that you have corpseberry cultivator.
What about Head of the Homestead?
Busted, actually, really good.
Are we taking that over like Worn Elders? Are we taking that over Rabbit Response?
I'm
I mean,
not
we're definitely
taking
taking
it-
it over Rabbit Response, right?
Yep. I'm not usually taking it over Warren Elder. If I have 2 Warren Elders, stock goes up.
So that's
for
how
sure.
close it is. Like,
It's very close to Warren Elder.
but we're definitely taking Carrot Cake over it.
Yep.
And we're definitely taking, what was the other white card that we said we were taking?
Intrepid Rabbit.
Yes. But that one's,
That one's a lot closer.
Intrepid Rabbit's a lot closer to Warren Guard than it is to Carrot Cake.
Yep.
Okay.
That usually in my evaluation.
But yeah, the other one I was talking about was Junk Blade Bruiser, but we're not into that.
I almost forgot about Head of the Homestead. That's like a very easy to get card that usually makes it in every rabbit deck.
Moonrise Cleric, the
No.
2/3.
No.
No.
Bad. It's a bat.
I'm just trying to say all
Bats
the
are
commons.
more playable than the white cards are usually like, to me, rabbits is almost like mono white splash green.
Yeah. Seed Pod Squire and the frog, the 1/1 frog that draws a
Yeah,
card.
definitely
No,
not.
none of that stuff.
I usually play
Yeah.
at very least 9 planes. And like
Really?
a lot of times I'll go even to like 10 or 11.
Wow, so it's
Planes,
really base
It's
white.
very base white. Because like
Yeah.
for the most part, like you don't really have green 1-drops that you really actually want to be playing in rabbits.
It sounds like you're prioritizing the white cards more even when you're drafting. Now,
Yeah.
that's got to help out when you're signaling in your drafts. Like,
Yeah,
so
I
you're
wanna
really like
cut
putting
people
a
out of
hard
white.
cut on white.
And I do this every week, and I've like won the past 2 weeks. I've just been forcing white so hard usually.
Yeah, I've noticed you've been exclusively drafting rabbits for reasons of like having pet rabbits and
I
loving
have a
rabbits.
pet rabbit, yeah.
But it seems to be like it's one of those decks where everybody in their pods is just like they know it's a really good deck, and it's just like a lot of people want to try to draft it, but you seem to be edging them out. And I really do believe it's because you draft those white cards and
Yeah,
heavily
super
value them
high.
more than the others, and so you're cutting them so hard on white
Usually, yeah.
on pack 1 that pack 2 you're reaping the benefits of like you get your splash color or the most premium white card in there.
Yeah.
And then in pack 3 you're cutting them again hard on white.
Yeah, from both directions usually. Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
usually by pack 3, you're not as interested in cutting as you are like, you have your both of your
Yeah,
colors
yeah,
figured
yeah.
out, and you
Yeah.
just, yeah.
Well, now you're just reaping the rewards of having cut them like that hard on white, right?
Yeah.
What about the Fountainport Bell?
Oh,
Its stock goes a little bit up
With
when
Builder's Talent.
builder's talent usually. So like if I have a builder's talent, I'm more likely to play a Fountain Port Bell.
How often are you in 3 colors?
I would say maybe 20% of the time, probably.
You'd prefer not to be?
I prefer not to be usually. Like I'll play a Balin if I see a Balin anywhere.
That's
See
an
that?
Iowa one?
Yeah, and it's
This
not
is
even
Iowa.
like it's not even like a premium rabbits card.
have you
I
drawn
don't
the
think.
cards off of it and things like that?
Yeah, oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
What about Fountainport?
Fountain Port is absolutely disgustingly good, especially in rabbits. It's like probably like I want to say even like first pickable.
Really?
Yeah, like actually, like it's so unbelievably dumb and good. Like just being able to like every single one of its abilities is kind of relevant. Like even like sometimes
The treasure?
the treasure is kind of relevant.
Really?
Yeah.
Because like sometimes you'll just like if you're real stuck, you'll just make a treasure and then the next turn you'll be able to sack it to draw a card. So like it's super relevant. And like a lot of times you'll just have like you'll like bait your opponent into thinking they have lethal, and then you just make the 1/1 fish and they don't have lethal. And like I've done it a million times
Yeah.
at this point, and like people just don't realize that Fountain Port is like a constant threat on the board.
Yeah, I've seen you use it to really great effect, especially because you kind of tend to go to those long grinding.
I
matches.
love the
But there's
grinding of it.
nothing like a fountain port when you're in those kind of situations because it's just like there's never a bad top deck. You know, even if you have more lands, so what? You're gonna draw more cards off the fountain port.
Yeah,
or you're
for sure.
sacrificing all these things to just get more value.
And like, especially like, heaven forbid you have a caretaker summit, and you're just like,
Yeah.
you're just like,
I had to deal with that.
if you're
gosh.
just doing that, like that's like
Yeah.
unbeatable, right? Like, oh, let me chump block your 7/7 with my 1/1 fish and draw a card. It's GG's, bro. Just
Yeah.
give it up, hang it up. There's nothing you can do. Like, another sneaky rabbit card to me is the 2-mana 2/1. The 2/1
The 3 tree?
changeling.
That was the next card I was
Oh
about to
my
ask.
I love it. And like, sometimes that can enable like weird other strategies, like let them kind of go into your rabbit synergies too. Like, what is the card that I'm thinking of? Like Sonar Strike.
Gain for life. Yeah.
Yeah, that
Take out the
Sonar Strike
trash.
goes up more. Take out the trash. Like, even bird synergies. like it's adorable with like Salvation Swan, right? Like you get to bounce your like, it's just fits in nicely with your rabbits, but also like enables other weird, like super niche.
How does it work with the Lord? Does he get +4/+4?
No, it just gets plus. It just gets 1.
yeah.
Yeah. I think it says creatures that you control that are.
I see.
Yeah. But yeah.
What
like,
about Tangle Tumbler? The vehicle that puts counters on stuff for 3? That you can crew with 2 tokens. It's a 6/6.
It's one that I haven't played with very much, but I've seen it be very good. So I've like kept it more in my eyes, and it goes. Obviously, stocks go up with builders' talent, right?
Yeah.
But like, it's just kind of like a gross threat that just stays on the board, and like having vigilance is super relevant.
Yep.
Yeah.
Like, I've gotten blown out.
I mean, 6/6 is the biggest in the format, right? Like, there's
Yeah.
nothing bigger than a
Yeah.
6/6.
Yep.
Wow. Yeah.
And it can put counters on itself, right? So
Yep.
it can, easily be a 7/7.
It has trample too, right?
It does not have
It
trample.
doesn't have trample. Yeah. Thank goodness. Yeah, it's scary though, for sure. Like, I haven't.
What about Starforge Sword?
Terrible.
Terrible.
It's just like too much mana, too mana intensive for like rabbits. Oh, this is like. I almost forgot about this.
Yeah.
This is like your biggest payoff for going.
Patchwork.
Yeah, patchwork.
Oh, it's so good.
Yeah.
So unbelievable.
Yeah, because like Rabbits is a deck that makes the most dudes, right?
Yeah,
So you just get the most stats for
and
it.
like, you don't even like, you just put it in any like any basically white deck.
Yeah.
Usually.
Yeah, it doesn't go nearly as good with anything else. Like, lizards, none of that is good. as
It'll
Rabbit.
sometimes go kind of cute with mice, but it's never as good as.
Well, it's also a white based deck, right?
Yep. But like, normally you just want to name rabbit, and then your carrot cake is basically Imperial Oath.
And your
Right?
your 3 mana thing, it definitely is.
Yeah, for sure. Like, it's so stupid usually. And yeah, I almost forgot about Patchwork Banner. And like, I don't think it goes in any other tribal deck the way it goes into rabbits.
Are you torn second hop to it versus Patchwork Banner at
No,
all?
I'll usually take Patchwork Banner.
Over your second hop to it?
Yep.
Wow.
That's crazy.
That's crazy.
It's so good.
I'm sure.
Yeah.
And like, it lets you yeah, it is close. Hop to it, I might actually just take and like pray to my Lord and Savior that Patchwork Banner wheels, which I've seen happen.
Oh, that's
I've seen
insane.
it happen.
That's insane.
Because it's kind of
truly only Rabbits desperately wants it.
yes, for sure.
Like other decks will take it.
other decks will take it, and it's most of the time wrong to play.
Yeah.
But
Like I can see you doing it in frogs because you need the mana, or like, and most frog decks are just all frogs, right?
yeah,
Like
You gotta be
usually.
decent in bats, right? Like just.
I've
having
played
that
it.
extra-
I've played it in bats.
yeah. Your flyers
Well,
are a
like-
little bigger.
Yeah, a little bigger.
But
flyer.
like, it gets way better in bats whenever you have like the rare, like
Yeah.
the Bob,
Oh
right?
my
Like,
gosh,
which is
yeah.
busted already.
Yeah.
But yeah, like, I played it in bats, but like, rabbits desperately wants it
Yeah.
for sure. Oh, that was a tough one between that and Hop 2. I almost forgot about Patchwork Banner.
Like, you're definitely taking Hop 2 at 1 over Patchwork Banner, right?
Yes, for sure.
Yeah.
Because, like, it's just way better. It's
Harvest Right Host 1 over Patchwork Banner?
It's...
I'm just trying to fit, like,
Maybe.
I might be just asking, like, similar questions.
That one's like a closer
I'm just
one.
truly
That's
trying to
way
figure this
closer
out.
than Hop to It and Harvest Right Host. It's like, it gets tough.
Pack one, pick one.
Pack one, pick one. I'll probably take Harvest Right Host over Patchwork Banner just because I want to cut white, right?
Yeah.
Like, I want to cut
I mean,
white
like, I see
usually.
that as a signal for white, though. Like, I know not everyone will, but, like,
I don't think it plays out like that because, like, it's getting increasingly more rare to wheel it. And, like, the people taking it aren't white drafters. Like, I think maybe once it all evens out, probably.
yeah.
But, yeah, that's like a disgusting rabbit card.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yep.
Yeah, but rabbits are good.
Yeah.
You should play every single one.
Sounds good.
Name one bad rabbit, Ryan,
Name one bad rabbit.
in this format.
I don't know if there is one. Is there?
There
one?
really isn't one.
I mean, the 2/3 changeling.
Which, like, I've played.
Was it like
Bank
the
form
1/4
harvester.
that gives a +1/+0 to something?
He's saying that's good.
That's good.
yeah, that
That is
enables
good.
a lot of it. Like
Yeah.
with your
Unless-
tokens,
The
it's
token's
only
nice.
good in rabbits.
It's
Yeah.
only- yeah.
It gets less good if you're, like, trying to go bigger. But even still, then it makes your things bigger, right?
Mhm.
Like, but, like, I can't think of, like, any rabbit that I'm, like, ever sad to put in my deck.
I mean, I think Bravekin Duo is not that good. Personally,
I like it. I genuinely like it. It gets better with, like, Life Creed Duo for sure.
Mm.
Like, it all just, like, clicks for me. Like, when you want Bravekin Duo or, like, when you want Rabbit Response.
hmm
Like, you kind of know, right? Like, if you have a ton of token generation, you're more likely to want a Rabbit Response than, like, a Bravekin Duo, right? Which
Right.
kind of go around the same time.
Well, like, I mean, you're saying rabbits doesn't have to be white. Like, obviously, if you're in Boros,
Yep,
you're way more
Bravekin
interested
Duo.
in
Yep.
Bravekin Duo
for sure.
and stuff like that. But I do think that's the worst rabbit.
Yeah, maybe. It's tough. But it's still, like, totally a playable card that I put in, like, every single deck.
Name the worst otter, Robi.
Name a otter that's, like, actually good, bro. Even, like, the 6-drop Torrential Gear Hulk one, you're dead. You're dead when you play that. Like,
Not when I'm flashing back my wildfire for the third time.
Oh man.
yeah, your third wildfire. Yeah.
I drafted a deck online with 4. I cut one. Like,
Holy crap.
it's insane.
Oh my gosh.
That deck only beats rabbits, so I think, like,
No, it beats a lot. It beats a lot.
It beats a lot
It
of
wrecks
things.
frogs too.
yeah, frogs are, like, pretty bad to me. Like, frogs
Well,
are, like,
When you're doing like when you have the best deck, like what are you most scared of? I guess then, like with rabbits,
usually
mice.
something that, like, usually where rabbits struggle the most is if somebody gets out, like, a busted rare and you just can't remove it, or, like, mice too.
Bats.
I don't usually care too much about bats because you're usually just, like, way grindier.
Raccoons. I feel like raccoons could get you because they have a
that
lot of
falls into the
trample.
counter into the camp of, like, any deck that, like, puts out a big disgusting thing that just gains a bunch of value and you aren't able to remove it, because most of the time rabbits aren't able to remove it, and it's not just something you can ignore.
Yeah,
I just think you
Like-
always have trouble with big trampling creatures.
yeah, which is
creatures, so-
raccoons, right?
Yeah.
But, like, raccoons is kind of like a pretty sketchy deck to actually build.
Yeah,
And, like,
Yeah.
most of the time you'll beat them on, like, you just having a disgusting curve that they don't have.
yeah, yeah.
Because, like, most
Like-
of the time they just don't have access to, like, 1-drop plays and raccoons, right? Like,
It just feels like it has too much going for it. Like it has the card draw, it has
has
the
card draw,
board
which is
presence,
crazy,
it has the buffs, like it has the big things, it has the small things. Like it just is absurd. Like even like prowess, like is it like
Yeah.
can grind? It can really grind,
yeah.
and lizards can really grind.
hmm
But like
Rabbits can grind, plus they have the disgusting curve, and they just
they grind
like,
while adding to the board.
yeah,
Yeah.
and they just have, like, 2-for-1s out the.
They just have
ass,
random
like-
card like Harvest Red Host should never say draw a card. Like,
it's like it should
made
be
like-
a 3/3 for 3 that does that. Right? Like that's already just like a body.
yeah.
Right? Like I attack with it.
Well,
like
patchwork band, like all the like colorless artifacts are like made for rabbits. Like all the, you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
heirloom
like
epic,
heirloom,
which is good. And I've been on since
fountain
day
board,
one.
even like
Fountain
it's just
board's
it's
so
all
good.
just made just for rabbits. Like,
Yeah, genuinely. Like the 2-man artifact that goes so good with Builder's Talent. Yeah, like Builder's Talent. You should try Builder's Talent next time you see
I mean,
it,
I play
'cause-
against all the time, and I just destroy it. Like,
Yeah, me too.
but no one like I played you with it, and that's like by far the best I've ever seen it before. But like,
someone who's like really building around Builder's Talent, because like I build around it usually most of the time.
well, yeah, I mean,
I'm more likely to put things in my deck. that
yeah, like
do
the Bumble
stuff
Pot
like-
and stuff. Which
Bumble Pot,
Bumble
even-
Pot makes sense for you because like you're basically saying like I don't take Banishing Light, like I don't take. Like you take the fight, but you don't take real premium removal, and like that's just always like there. Like you can have 2 Bumble Spots every draft if you want it.
Yep. Usually, yep.
And if they're giving you a little bit more value, like
It's just so
like,
it,
but like if they're drawing you a card and giving you 2 counters,
Oof.
it's
that's pretty
crazy.
good.
Yeah, for sure. And like, yeah, there's just like pockets of synergy in this format that like I think a lot of people just miss.
so main pockets for rabbits are Harvest Right Host shenanigans,
Harvest Right Host, Hop
Builder's Talent
Hop Tier is
shenanigans,
just busting and everything.
Yeah.
Builder's Talent shenanigans. It's
Patchwork
all
Banner shenanigans.
Patchwork Banner for sure. Also, and like once you get into rares, the shenanigans just
Oh,
get
yeah.
Oh,
absurd,
man,
for
yeah.
sure. But like those are like the uncommon shenanigans.
Those
for
are like
sure.
the 3 pockets.
There's
you're
also
looking for.
like secretly
the Heirloom Epic. And,
Heirloom Epic. There's also like even Life Screed Duo shenanigans. Like
I mean, I think that's yeah, sure. It's just like it just gains you so much life,
yeah,
right?
yeah.
Like
And
because like although you have a ton of rabbits, you don't want to jump with them,
yep,
right?
usually not.
So if you can gain the life instead,
Yep. And then you like don't have to chump block anymore. And then like you can just like save up all your rabbits for a disgusting rabbit response, right?
yeah,
Mhm.
just one big turn.
Yeah, one.
I've noticed like rabbits usually only has like 3 or 4 attacks to win, usually.
Yeah,
Yeah.
It does.
It
It
does,
does feel a
of
lot like an
damage at
OTK
once.
deck. That's
Yeah.
kind of how Is It is. Really,
Yeah.
like you know, you'll have one big turn where you just dome them for 12, and they're like, okay.
Jeez.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, rabbits is usually like, oh, you're at 18?
Yeah.
Okay.
Full swing.
Full swing. Full swing at 18. Cause like usually too, like one of the biggest giant benefits of playing white is Crumb and Get It is just so unbelievably
Gosh,
good for
yeah.
1 mana.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's so stupidly strong. And like a lot of times you're doing a lot of like weird looking send my 1/1 into your 4/4. like send everything. You're like pressuring so hard.
Yeah.
usually,
Yeah.
That they have to block stuff and like you just blow them out with combat tricks. That's how you get away with not having to have as much removal.
Personally, like I think the reason I like Is It so much is because it does match up really well against rabbits to
Just
me.
the one.
Well,
one.
that
Yes, we
the
were.
1 mana bounce is insane against them because like they do kind of all in. Like you know they play the Tree Guard duo, they have the Regal Bunnycorn whatever thing that
Yeah.
XX whatever. They have the Caretaker's Talent that you can bounce at the cost of a fish and blow them out. Like the bounce is very good against them. Like you just play 1/4s and 1/3s that just like they can't really do anything until it's time for them to attack, you know?
Yep.
And that's why I like Is It so much because like I see that deck a lot in it against Is It, and like I beat that deck a lot of the time.
Yeah, I don't. I've seen Ryan win with it, but like in my experience, like Is It has been like wildly unplayable.
I think a lot of people do it like drastically wrong.
Yeah, I'm probably one of those too. Like definitely, like I think like you can't just like lean into orders. Right?
Like your Harvest Right Host is like the 1 mana bounce to me. Like that's how I see that card.
That's crazy.
The 1 mana bounce is just so good.
It's like, but it's like a blue card, right? Like,
It's already.
Well, that's what's so good about it. I
Yeah.
always get it. like, imagine like going to a draft and like I'm getting at least one Harvest Ride host today.
Yeah.
That's how I feel every time I sit down on a draft.
That's hilarious.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's so funny.
And like wildfires, like you can get them last pick. Like,
because the red decks don't even want it,
right,
No,
because
the
they kill all
red
their
decks don't
stuff,
want it,
but
yeah.
not the Izzet deck. It doesn't kill any of your stuff.
But then you have to have blue cards.
Yeah. I'm so used
man.
to seeing packs now. Like the final 6 picks are just basically all blue with a land.
Yeah,
It's like, what the heck happened here?
yeah.
But Izzet cannot work if 2 people drafted at the same table.
Oh yeah, for
Like
sure.
it's not like it's not premium like rabbits. You know what I mean? Like there can be 3 rabbit drafters.
You think
And
you
like-
could have 3 rabbit drafters at a table?
Yeah.
Mm.
Oh yeah. Easy. Like rabbits is a deck where like if you just like literally look at the text on the card and if it says rabbit, you just take it, then your deck's kind of sick. It's kind of fine and you'll like beat at least 50% of the decks at the table.
yeah.
Like just by having rabbits. And then like once you start branching out and you find the other synergy pockets that like play nice with rabbits, like Life Greed Duo.
I mean, they just play nice with literally
Builder's
everything.
Talents.
Like
yeah.
if you consider Birds is not a deck. Like I've never I've
Birds
never
is
seen
not-
a real Birds deck in a draft.
I've
Like
tried so many times. wasted
aside
so
from
many
like
gems.
0, 2, whatever, like
Yeah.
bad. But like I've never seen a real Birds deck in like where I've got 2 wins.
I played a black-white deck last week and I had 4 swamps, 1 island, and the rest were all plains. And it was like rabbits. But I just like randomly had the Bird Lord, the 5-mana rare,
Mhm.
and like it just did it the dumbest things ever because I had like 3 of the
Shapeshifters.
shapeshifters. like they got up to like 5/4s and like I had one other bird,
Oh my gosh.
the double strike vigilance guy, and that
Oh,
was
so he double triggers it?
Yeah.
Oh my
gross.
god.
and like that was the only 4 birds in my deck, and it just got so dumb. Yeah.
But yeah, the rabbit deck just supports white red, it supports white black, it supports, and obviously it's white green.
Yep.
And like white blue is not a real deck. Like so
Yeah. White blue is definitely not real. Like blue, just like all the mechanics are just like they just like tune down so many of them. Like the blue white's theme of like give something without flying
A counter.
A counter.
yeah.
Like why would you want non-flying creatures in your blue white deck?
right.
And it just like takes a lot of work to enable. Kind of the same way that I feel about like threshold in this format.
Yeah.
Oh.
Like you have to
man.
do so much work to get your threshold.
it should be super paid. Like
When like
you should be
Yeah.
super paid off.
whenever green white, like them getting a payoff,
Yeah.
like requires them to like play a carrot cake.
Yeah.
Like
Or
they
a
have
hop
their
to it.
token,
Yeah, or
a
hop to
hop
it,
to
yeah.
it, and like stuff you like just is already inherently good. And it takes like nothing to actually trigger.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's how I feel about rabbits.
Sounds good.
Good.
I think that's all we got this week.
Well,
Bye.
catch you boys on the flip.
Ah.
Bye.